Yo, Counter Attack Podcast. I'm back again, online. To be honest, the only reason why we didn't do it with the whole gang is because I didn't sort it out in time. But everyone's back next week. But for this week, wait, before we do that, keep liking, subscribing, and sharing. Those of you who watch this on the YouTube, you're going to notice that the YouTube's going to look a lot cleaner, a lot more cleaner. It's going to look cleaner, whichever the English is. So, so moving forward, hopefully things should just start picking up. Keep liking, subscribing, and sharing, as I said. Hashtag Counter Attack Podcast. We're going to keep the guests coming as the season draws to a close. Yeah. So today I've got Blackburn captain, Elliott Bennett on. Just going to see what he's up to be honest. You know what it's like, normal podcast. So, let me just get him in now. I feel like I've not done this in ages. Yes.
Yo, what's happening?
Nothing, we're live, so.
Cool.
Yeah, so if you say anything from this point forward, it's out in the world. Yeah, it's out in the world. So if you wanna cuss, Bradley or anything, just let me know and.
We'll get on to him.
Yeah, we'll do that later. But yeah, how's it being back, man?
Yeah, it's good, obviously long. The break was long. That we broke up on I think day before Bristol City game. The guys like, "Oh, have the weekend off, see you Monday," and then 12 weeks later we're back in. So it's a crazy time, but obviously it's crazy for everyone. So now to get back, really, even though it's not normal because there's no fans, it's just playing football again, and it back to work really, rather than just staying at home and playing daddy daycare and just being running around with the kids.
Well, what's it been like for you now? Because obviously you probably never spent this much time home when you've not been injured. So what's it been like for you?
No, do you know what? Like, I tried to make a positive out of it really, because obviously, like you said, you don't get that time really with football. Obviously, you get the 6 weeks break in the summer, but you're normally like going on holiday and going to see everyone that you ain't seen during the season. Whereas that like just pure lockdown, stay at home with the family. I enjoyed it, just being around the kids, just seeing them grow every day, which obviously, like, not being at home all the time, you miss out on a lot of things. So yeah, I really enjoyed being around the family, to be honest.
Okay, but tell the truth, you much prefer to be on the pitch of it.
Listen, women, right? Honestly, they deserve a medal, the patience of the saint. Because some of the days were testing. When the weather wasn't good, the weather was good for a long time. It was all right going outside, playing with them and that. But then, when the weather's bad and it's raining, you got a wet play day. It's no good, House turned upside down, turned into a cleaner, nanny, all kinds of things. I didn't enjoy that. But now, being back at football that's just all I've known really for a long time. So enjoyed being back.
Has it been weird for you with the whole no crowd thing?
Yeah, listen, like, we had to come back and finish the season. I prefer to do it this way than what they did in like League 1 and 2. But yeah, I don't enjoy the playing with no fans. I think everyone knows, football is nothing without a crowd, and it's just, even if it's just abuse when you go to away ground, I thrive off it. I enjoy it, and it's I can't wait for it to get back to some kind of normal and fans are allowed back, to be honest.
Yeah, even so, with like you being back with no crowd and everything, don't you still, obviously it's got to be done, safety and everything, but don't you look at it sometimes, even at this point, and you see that the subs are still sitting far away from each other, don't they just look at it and just think, what's the point now? Yeah,
that's the side of it I don't really understand, because we're playing on the pitch together, we're training together, so sitting down next to each other on a normal bench would just be. But I guess it's more just for like the perception, how it looks. Do you know what I mean? Like, the government can't be saying social distance and then we're all sat all right next to each other. So I get it from that point, but I'm like done with it in terms of football terms, in terms all the protocols. Like, I can't wait for it just to get back to normal, to be honest. But listen, I prefer to finish the season this way. Like I said, like, I think the League 1 and 2, the way it finished, I think, great for some teams, but not so good for others. And at least we're getting to play out on the pitch, and it's everyone's in the same boat.
Yeah, and very briefly, you had your own little scare, didn't you? Where you tested positive. How much of a surprise was that for you?
It was mad because obviously I'm just like anyone else. You watch the news, media, and that, and everything's kind of was doom and gloom. Like you get coronavirus, you're in hospital, you're on a ventilator, and I'm thinking, oh, they're ill. Do you know what I mean? Like that's bad. Like then that can happen to some people. So when I went into I got to the training ground, and the guy goes, "Nah, you gotta go home." I'm like, "What do you mean I gotta go home? I just got here." He goes, "Nah, you tested positive." I said, "How can I test positive? I tested negative Friday." He says, "Nah, you positive." I said, "But I feel fine." He goes, "Yeah, like this is just one of them things." And I was just like, so I had to go home, stay at home for 10 days, and then obviously it all come out that I had it. I'm getting messages from loads of people, random people, get well soon. I'm like, get well soon? I felt like a fraud, you know. Honestly, I felt like I was like saying to people, like, I feel fine, there's nothing wrong with me. I genuinely had no symptoms whatsoever. So, yeah, I think the media kind of thing was scaring people that know me a bit more, you know, about people think you get really, really ill, everyone, but obviously I was lucky really. I was, absolutely fine. What's that like? Because even though you're a professional footballer and, you know, that certain players are just in the media more than others as players. But now all of a sudden, because of this, you're in the media. Was it something that you knew was going to happen, or did it come as a surprise? No, do you know what? Because obviously most of the time, some of the other players, they didn't come out. So I just thought it was I didn't mind. Like the club was a bit like, "Oh, do you want your name, mate?" And I was just like, "Why not?" Like people are just going to speculate about who it is anyway. I feel fine. I'm not ill. And I think, as I said before, like with the media, everything was very like doom and gloom. And if you get it, you're going to be in hospital. And I just thought, I didn't even know that you wouldn't be in hospital if you had it. Do you know what I mean? So I was just thinking, like, I feel fine. So I think it's important that people know that you can still have coronavirus, but feel, do you know what I mean? Absolutely fine. I think the hardest thing for me more was coming home from training, like explaining to my missus, like, "Oh, look, I've tested positive." And then we're all panicking, like, "Oh, what should I do? Where can I go? Like, should I not come home?" And I'm thinking, but where can you go? Like, everything was locked down. There's no hotels. I had nowhere else to go. And then the doc's like, "Oh, can you not just stay in a different room?" I'm like, "How do you expect me to stay at home for 10 days? I've got 2 3-year-olds in a different room and not see them. It's impossible." So we just kind of got on with it really, and because I didn't feel any symptoms and I was fine, it was all right, to be fair. Yeah, and you know, good thing is you're all good, you're all back and well, and ready to play football, or you've been playing football. So you are Blackburn captain, for those that don't know. What was it like when your gaffer turned around to you and said, "No, we're gonna give you the armband now"? Yeah, it's a massive honour. So it was before the Fulham away game. So the normal captain, or the captain that's been at the club since I've been here, is Charlie Mulgrew. He was going out on loan, not featuring under the manager, and he just pulled me and said, "Look, I like the way you are. The lads have got respect for you, and I wanna make you captain." And I was just honoured, really, just to get that from the manager, really, and to know that the lads have got my back. I think it's a real proud moment in my career to have had that faith put in me. Was it something that the players turned around and just probably looked at it and just thought you were the natural choice? Do you reckon? I think I don't know, like, because we've got a good few leaders really in the club. But I think when Charlie never played last year, the gaffer tended to give me the armband, so I think it was kind of more of like a people kind of would have thought, well, why would he give it him last year and not this year? But yeah, like for me, I'm proud to play for this football club, and I've got a lot of respect for all the lads. I love the lads, and you know, I think I'd like to think I do my best for the group, whenever that is, whether I'm playing or not playing. What benefits come with being their captain? Nah, I've realised none. Other than your own personal pride, none, because you get asked by the lads, go and ask the gaffer, see if we can get a day off. Then you get asked by the gaffer, do the lads need anything? And obviously with the whole coronavirus thing, we took wage deferral for 3 months as a group, and I spent hours hours upon hours. The sun's baking outside, my kids are running around, and I'm sat inside on Zoom to the manager, the chief exec, and I started to think then, like, these are, I didn't get told this bit when I was like taking the role. So, but now, like, look, it's just all part of it, really. Just being involved, like, you're kind of trying to be the link between the gaffer and the lads.
Yeah. I heard it was because, like, I heard you got the armband because you're the, like, busiest, apparently. So
hey, you know what? It's probably right, you know. It's probably right. I take it. I'll take it.
Yeah, I was speaking to Bradley last week, actually. And I think you, like, had, like, a team meeting or something. You know what day I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
He had a team meeting, and then and he's come out and he said, we were just in there long. We were in there long today, blah, blah, blah. And then I said, who's the one that would, like, in your meetings, ask the most questions, innit? And he was just like, yeah, Benno, straight.
I like to know everything, you know. If I don't know the answer, I need to try and find out. So yeah, I'll take that. I am the busiest. Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, you're like the Blackburn version of Parched. So, but yeah. So let's talk about football, man. Your season. I mean, you guys lost to Millwall, so to say.
Yeah.
But and that basically, I don't know if you thought playoffs were a no-no before then, but that's basically kind of ended it for you guys. So, what was the overall atmosphere like in the club when you realised that it wasn't going to happen in regards to playoffs?
Just disappointment, to be honest, because obviously I don't think anyone outside of the club would have had us down as getting in the playoffs. But as a group, we believe in ourselves, and you know, that was the goal, really, to see if we could, you know, get into the playoffs, really, because then once you're in, you never know what can happen. As Wickham have showed as well, like, do you know what I mean? Like, no one would have expected them to be anywhere near it, and they've gone and done, like, what seemed impossible, to be fair. So yeah, it was something we wanted to do. Obviously disappointed that we haven't made it, but you know, like, that's football. Someone's got to miss out, and unfortunately for us this year, we just weren't, you know, quite good enough.
Yeah, but before you guys actually came back, though, was there a real feeling within the camp that, guys, we can actually do this? Or was it just like, you know what, let's just play and just see where it takes us?
Nah, I think we did have a strong belief, and then we beat Bristol in the first game back, and it was like, I think we were a point outside, and you're thinking, like, once you get that close, you're thinking we've got a chance here. And then we played 2 away games against Wigan and Barnsley, and we lost both of them. And then you're thinking, it's a long way back from here. We beat Cardiff, drew West Brom, and then you're thinking, right, if we can win the next 3 games, you might sneak in. Obviously, you need results to go your way, and obviously, like, lost against Millwall, and that kind of killed everything off, really. So yeah, disappointing, really, because obviously you want to achieve things in your career, and obviously getting promotions and being in playoffs is what it's all about. But yeah, like I said, we just weren't good enough this season over the course of the season, and where you finish in the tables, where you're supposed to be.
Yeah. Looking back at that game against Millwall, because I didn't watch it, obviously, but from what I've heard and from what I've seen around on social media, it was just a weird game. Like,
yeah,
what happened in that game? Like, looking at it after the fact now.
Yeah, so we just, like, to be fair, they scored a goal, and they're really strong defensively. They scored quite early, I think 15, 20 minutes, and then yeah, it was just, we had like 65% possession. Just couldn't break down their unit. Couldn't score a goal. And I think if we'd have scored a goal, I think we would have definitely gone on to win the game. You know, one of them games where you just need that first one, and you just keep rolling with it. And yeah, we just couldn't get that goal. And it was kind of like a summary of our season in that one game, really, where we've been so close. We played, like, dominated the game, and just not had enough to win the game, really. And it doesn't matter how you do it. Millwall didn't have as much possession as us, but they won the game. And I think, like I said before, I've talked about Wickham. I think they were 23rd in possession in the whole of the league, and they're in the Championship next season. So it just shows there's loads of ways to win games, and there's no set way.
Yeah. Imagine that next season you're going to be up against the likes of Bayo. So He's definitely peeling off onto you. Just
yeah. I'm moving. You know, I'll just let him have it to his feet and let him stay there. I ain't getting into a fight with him because it'd be embarrassing.
Yeah, that's so like, because you're obviously used to playing against guys that go in behind and come short or whatever. But he's just a different like player to play against. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, how do you even defend against
stop
that?
What he does. No, you can't. You can't stop what he does. Like, once he sets his body, that's it. That's like a tree that stood for 300 years. You ain't moving. It's not going. So you're just pointless trying. The thing is, he wants you to do it so we can do what he does. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, you'd have to just, I don't even know. To try and find a different way, man. But it's definitely not trying to touch his body. As soon as his body feels you're in trouble.
And the thing is, so I've been to see him. He's been on my podcast a couple of times, and I've been to see him play a couple of times. And you see players, they always feel like some defenders that they're going to be the one to rough him up. They're going to be the one, and you see them battling with him, and he'll always get a free kick. He'll always get a free kick, or he'll just dominate you. Do you get what I'm saying? And sometimes I'm just thinking, do you just, I don't know, like what do you do? Like it's one of them ones where you can't leave him, but you just have to try your best, and hopefully people understand that you are never going to win that one.
Do you know what it is? I think it's like, when you got like, because obviously Bale's like, he's got like, I don't know, is he 37 now? 36, 37?
It might even be 38. Check that out.
Yeah, so like, you get these young defenders up and coming, think, a million followers on Instagram, beast mode, I'm turning beast mode off and all that. Do you know what I mean? He's got people like that, then he's been in the game too long, too strong, knows his stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's in that, but you always get people that want to try and make a name for themselves, and that's just one challenge that you shouldn't take on.
Yeah.
What do
you like? No, you definitely shouldn't. But speaking on that, when you like come up against these young players who just want to make a name for themselves, and like, how do you play against them? Do you just look at them and think, okay, I'm going to teach you a lesson today, because you've obviously got experience on your side now? So when you do come up against them, how do you approach it? Those players just want to make a name for themselves and just want to try to show you up.
Like, for me, I've got massive respect for any player that plays in the leagues or non-league. To be playing football and getting paid to do it. What I like, do you know what I mean? I've got massive respect for anyone. Obviously, when you come up against the young players, you get some of them that are like still boys, really. Do you know what I mean? They're just young lads. Just they've got a gift, but they're still young a bit. Not too switched on, but then you come up against some of them and you think, like this guy's good. Do you know what I mean? And you try and, like, for me anyway, you know what I mean, getting older now, so you just try and give them a little kick early on and hope that like makes them wilt. But some of them, they want it. Do you know what I mean? Some of these young guys, they want that. They want to, like you said, they want to show you up, and just try and have the mentality that just try and use as much experience as I can, and I always try and watch the clips of the players before I play them, so I know like what they like to do and don't like to do, really. And sometimes it works, and sometimes you get shown up, and sometimes you got to hold your hand up and say, "You're going to be a good player." Do you know what I mean?
Is there? Well, I think I know who you're going to say, but if there's a player who you come up against, a young one in the league this year, who you look at and think, it's going to be a tough day, who would you look at and think that?
When you say young, how old are you talking? Because Ben Rama, I don't know how old he is.
Yeah, how old is he? I was about to. Yeah, I knew you'd say it. I knew you'd say him, but
look who's come on. Look who wants to say hello.
Oh, flip's sake, bro! You've had enough. You've had enough airplay, mate. Airtime, whatever you call it.
Yeah, Eminem's come on.
Hey, Brad. He's
sleep.
No. I was just letting him know that you called him Parched.
Who?
You called him Parched. Always got questions, mate, for the manager.
Hey, listen.
Oh, Charlie.
Hey. Don't go for them bits. Yeah, them bits are alright, you know. Hey, stop touching me, man. Right, social distance, man. Yeah, so like, I'd say...
That's wearing a hat. You hairline like that.
He said you wearing a hat because your hairline's that. It's all right.
Never.
Yeah, that's strong. Yeah,
never,
that's strong.
Mate. Never.
Yeah, I'd say Ben Rama, to be fair, because he's a special player, to be honest. I think if Brentford don't get promoted, I think he's going to be a serious problem when he gets to the Premier League, because he's a Premier League player for sure.
Yeah, he's 24. I'm seeing it here. So yeah, everyone who I speak to in regards to the champ, who plays in the champ and everything, they always mention him. Always.
Best player this season, for me, best player in the league this season.
Yeah.
Obviously, Ollie Watkins is doing his thing. You got that Pereira from West Brom, like, you know, good young players, like just no fear, playing with confidence. I love seeing it. Do you know what I mean? But not when it's on the same pitch as me, man. I just keep them boys away from me, man.
I think Ollie, when I spoke to him, he said Pereira as well. Actually, he said Pereira. I've not really seen much of Pereira this year, but I always said my favourite players in the champ, Ben Rama, Ollie, and Calvin Phillips. Calvin Phillips is probably my favourite. But
he's top player.
Yeah,
he's going to get promoted with Leeds now as well. They obviously I think they need a point in the next 2 games, and I can't see how they're not going to get that. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
I think
it's about time as well. I think it's about time.
Yeah. What a club.
Home, podcast, home. Like, share, subscribe.
Is that Fred?
Yeah, something wrong with him, you know.
Mate, I don't know what's wrong with him. He doesn't do this much talking on his own flipping podcast, and he's bloody.
That's what it's about. He don't speak. He just sits there. Now he's coming on my podcast. Now it's ruining my thing.
Exactly. He just sits there, just bloody trying to look cute, and he's so far from cute, mate. But yeah, obviously, you said Leeds are going to get promoted. I'm looking at the table now. Yes, they're definitely going to do it. Obviously, they need a point. And Brentford are not giving up, mate.
Nah, they've had some comeback since the break.
And to be honest, I want Brentford to come up, because I just like Brentford and their London club, and obviously Ben Rama and Ollie play there. So I do think they would. I do want them to go up. So if you had to pick, so Cardiff right now as it stands, Cardiff, Nottingham Forest, Fulham, Brentford are in the playoffs. Who would your bet be to get promoted out of them in the playoffs?
Oh, I think Brentford might still go up automatic. You know, depends on obviously how the West Brom game goes today. As it stands now with the table, I'd say I think Fulham. You know,
Oh, really?
Just
really?
because I think whoever misses out from Brentford and West Brom, not automatic.
Head's gone.
I think it'll be hard for them, yeah. And obviously, and Fulham have been there, done that, playoffs before. They got some quality, like Mitrovic up top. Problem. They got some good players, so I think the experience of the players that they've got, I think that would be real good for them. Yeah,
I think my 3 to go up ideally would be Leeds, Brentford, and Fulham. Leeds, Brentford, and Fulham, 100%. I think Fulham just belong in the Premier League.
Just been in F so long. Yeah,
as do Leeds. But how hard is it? Because you mentioned how if they don't make it into the that automatic thing, it's going to be hard for them. How hard is it to actually get yourself up to play when you know this? It's not that there's nothing to play for, but you know you're not going to get promoted, and you know you've achieved something, or you've missed out on something, but you still got games to play. How hard is it mentally to get back to that? Because even like Liverpool, they've won the league now, and you've seen their performances drop off. Is that a difficult thing to do?
I think like during the like after the thing, so during the week it's hard. You know what I mean? You got to try and get yourself back going. Like obviously we missed out against Millwall. We've had training, and you're like what we've missed out, and it's disappointment and that. And then, but as soon as the game comes around, you don't have time to think like that. Do you know what I mean? Like because your own personal pride. Well, me personally anyway. Like I don't like losing 5-a-side in training. Do you know what I mean? So when it comes to a game, I definitely don't want to lose. And obviously you've still got that. Obviously, like you said, Liverpool have won the league now, and their performance levels have dropped off. But I think, not saying it's right, but they've earned the right now to they don't. Do you know what I mean? They don't have to play at 100. They've won the league. They've done what they said to do at the beginning of the season. Now, obviously, I'm sure their players aren't going out on the pitch intentionally not, do you know what I mean, not doing it. But, you know, the difference when you're chasing the league, you might run that extra 5 yards. Then when you're not, they might not. And I'm not saying that's what Liverpool are doing, but that is what can happen. But yeah, for me personally, I like, once I get on that pitch and the ref blows the whistle, like, it's game time. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter whether I'm playing, like I said, an in-house 11v11 just at the training ground or a match day. I want to win.
Does it? Because now you're on not the back end, because you're still only 31. You 31?
Yeah, back end, bro.
No.
Back end, bro.
I was trying to be polite there. But
you've seen all these young pups coming through, man. 17, 18 years old. I'm back end now.
Yeah, I know, but it's crazy because when you look at how, you know, the years have gone and you're suddenly now on, you know, like the senior side of the team. Like, how does that work in your head? Like, how do you deal with that in regards to now being one of the senior members? Do you now start suddenly looking like, hold on, I have to look at life after football, or is it just business as usual?
Nah, obviously, I started looking at life after football, I'd say a couple of years ago, to be honest, just trying to get ahead of it. But yeah, like when I'm in the building and I'm at the training ground, it's business, like football. Like, that's all I know, that's all I have known. I'm trying to put things in place for after football, but I'm kind of putting it in place when I'm away from the training ground. But then when I'm there, it's it's only football. That's all I've known. You know, I'm not stupid enough to think you can play till 50 years old. Do you know what I mean? There's going to be a time where someone says, "Nah, mate, you're out. You're done." But for me, I want to play as long as I can, even if it means like dropping down the leagues, going to non-league.
Okay.
Like, I just want to keep playing football for as long as I can. As long as my legs allow me to move, I want to be involved. And then, you know, when my body says enough's enough, then I'll stop.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that, because obviously you spent the majority of your career in Championship, and you know, you played Premier League, and you had a couple seasons in League One before. But like, if it came down to dropping down leagues, is that a thing in your mind where you're just like, nah, I can't do that, or like, because you know, a lot of people, they'd much rather retire than drop down leagues.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But with you, you'd much rather just keep it going. You ain't got that
100%. Like, I think as long as someone wants you and you're still able to do a job, I'm not saying just drop down. You can't just drop down the leagues and just be like, look what I've done. Like, people don't care what you've done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What you've done last season, no one cares about. It's what you've done 10 years ago, people certainly don't care about. But I just want to keep playing. I love football. Like I said, it's all I've known since I was a kid. I've just been, lucky enough to be at Wolves from like the age of 7. So in that age, all I've done is play football. And this is my dream. Do you know what I mean? And as stupid as it might sound, I don't want to let it go by just walking away and saying, "Nah, I'm not going down the leagues." Like, to play football and to be paid, and for fans to come to a game and watch, and want to see their team. Like, that's an honour for me. So I started off my career obviously at Wolves, went on loan to like League 2 and League 1. I've got no shame in going back there, and I think, by the time that happens, or when that happens, I'd like to think I'd still have a part to play in the team, and whether that's every match in the games, or whether that's just passing on my experiences that I've had in football to, like I said, the young players coming through, the next 17, 18-year-old that's coming through on loan from a big club. Even if I can just guide them or give them one piece of advice that they take and it makes them think a little bit different or kicks them on in their career, then, I want to try and help a team or as many players as I can, really.
Yeah, it's just sounding like I'm just trying to ship you off to a non-league team now, but hopefully you still got a while to go. But do you still look at football and everything else that comes with it the same? Because when you were young, traveling, staying in hotels, it was like, oh yeah, we're doing this, we're doing it. But now that you're older, you've been there, done that. Do you still look at football as, yes, like, I love it, or is it now a job because of the away games, and like now you're staying away from home and everything? Like, how do you look at it? Is it still the same for you?
Yeah, like, obviously perspective changes as you get older anyway. That's like life, never knowing football. Obviously, when you're a kid, like 17, and the manager says, "Oh, you're travelling to the away game, but you're not going to be on the bench." When I was at Wolves, that happened to me, and I'm like, yeah, I can't wait, getting on the bus, making everyone cups of tea and that. Do you know what I mean? Like, just buzzing to do it. Obviously, when you get older, you think your priorities change in your life. So obviously, I've got a young family, so but yeah, like I still love football. Do you know what I mean? But there's things that you learn along the way that you maybe don't like about football that you never knew when you were younger, because all it's about when you're 17, 18, 19 is just play. But then you go through the different stages. Like I've had bad injury and things like that. Things happen, and you get, obviously, you don't fall out of love with it, but there's things that you don't like about certain sides of football. And yeah, I've been through them bits, but yeah, I still love everything about. Do you know what I mean? Just going into the dressing room on a daily basis and the banter with the lads, just everything like that. I still love it.
Yeah. What are the lows for you? I know you had an injury at Norwich. I think you did actually. A bad one. You did, right?
Yeah, I did my ACL.
That. Yeah, and funny enough, not to make it about me, I've done my MCL right now.
Have you? Yeah.
Yeah, but MCL is not as bad as the ACL.
The inside one, isn't it? The inside. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm doing that now. So I'm trying
horrible,
to.
Innit?
I flipping hate it, man. And I'm lucky. it's annoying because I can still run. So so in my head, I'm just thinking, just keep doing it. And right now, I'm in the thing where I'm trying to cut down the weight that I put on during lockdown. So I'm doing a lot of. Do you know Jamie Lawrence by any chance?
Yeah, well, I don't know him personally, but I follow him on Instagram and I see what he's doing, because I think like he's someone I've got a lot of respect for, even though I don't know him. Just hearing his story, seeing what he does with like the young players around London, and yeah, I think I got a lot of time for him.
I've been with Jamie since I was about 18. So before I went pro, he got me fit and whatever. And now I'm back with him the last week. Literally, I've been coming home and just sleeping straight. I'm not like, his fitness is no joke. So
you want some of them embarrassing videos he does?
Yeah, like, there's a couple of me from the last couple of days, mate. There's a couple
of people down saying touch.
Yeah,
it's too funny, you know.
Have you seen the funny one off the chest? Nah, he's too funny, man. Big up Jamie. But yeah, your ACL, what was that like for you when you spent that long outside? How long were you gone for?
So I did it on the first game of the season at Norwich in the Premier League. We're playing Everton, and we drew 2-2, and like I did it in the 70th minute, I think. But I played the rest of the game. I carried on. I came in after the game. I was like, oh, my knee's a bit sore. But like, we'll send you for a scan tomorrow. Went for a scan, and I got a phone call that night to say, yeah, like done your ACL. You're booked in on Tuesday to get it done. I'm like devastated. Do you know what I mean? Playing in the Premier League, I think it was my third season. So it would have been my third season in the Premier League. Just looking forward to the start of the season, do all the hard work in pre-season, and then someone says, look, like, you're done. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's you for the season, really. Luckily, like, I still had another year on my contract, and they were offering me a new one anyway. Which, like big up to like Chris Hughton and Norwich for they stuck by what they offered me and still offered it me, even though they knew I wasn't going to be around for a year. So like that was like comforting, really, to know that I wasn't under big pressure to rush anything. And then I ended up coming back, I think 7 months after, just in training, playing under 23s games. And then I actually I was on the bench against Chelsea, second last game of the season, and then came on for half an hour in the last game of the season against Arsenal. So yeah, it was good that I managed to get back before the end of the season. Do you know what I mean? Just so it wasn't like completely done. But yeah, that put a massive dent in my career, to be honest. I missed a whole year of football. And then even after the injury, it took me a long time, do you know what I mean, just to get back to kind of normal, do you know what I mean? Like, it's more like when you miss that much football, just your whole body, the way your muscles move, everything just wasn't working like how it should be, really. Yeah,
and I've always said that, like, since I've come back from breaking my leg, I've not been the same player since. And that's not because I don't know how to play football anymore, but like you said, the mechanisms of your body it's all off. Do you get what I'm saying? And
100%.
Did you ever feel in your head that like you're not going to be the same player?
Yeah. So obviously I'll try to kid myself. So I'll be back. They ask me in the physio room, how you feeling? I'm like, yeah, good. I'm ready to go. The manager will call me in the office. You ready? Yeah, you ready to be involved? I'm like, yeah, I'm ready, boss. Put me in. Just because I was desperate to play football. But in the back of my mind, knowing I'm not ready. Like, and now looking back on it, I think I was so far off ready. Do you know what I mean? But then selfishly, you want to just be involved and want to be back around it. And then you missed out on so much stuff. You want to be back. But really, I probably won't do myself justice. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm back and I'm not giving 100% of me. And if I'd just took a little bit longer, maybe, or just trained for a couple of months before wanting just to be thrown back into the Lions' den. Do you know what I mean? But so you learn these things going through them. But yeah, like it was a bad time for me, to be honest, just because no one wants to be out that long. No one wants to miss football. But it gave me like a new. You know, like sometimes when you're at training and you've had a bad session and you go home and you're like, football, man, do my head in and this, that. When going through that injury, like you said, you broke your leg, so you'll know where I'm coming from. I was getting into that mindset where I was thinking, I ain't never going to moan about football, like a bad session. I'd do anything to be outside now, doing set pieces for an hour. Just set pieces, nothing else, just being out there, kicking a ball. So it gave me like a whole new, like a different mindset, really, just thinking every day you're playing and you get the chance to train, it's a blessing. And I'd like to think, if you spoke to the lads or Jono or whatever, that they'd say like I'm always kind of upbeat around the place, just because I think that gave me like a new perspective. Yeah,
you guys actually played together at Norwich as well, didn't you?
Yeah. So we signed together at the same time in 2011, I think. Obviously spent 4 years together at Norwich. Then obviously he went to Derby for 4 years, and then just obviously back together now at Blackburn.
Yeah. If you were, this is a random question. If you're getting subbed off now, who's the vice captain?
Darryl Lenihan.
Okay, cool. Let's say he's not on the pitch. If you're getting subbed off now and you had to pick anyone to give the armband to, who do you give it to?
In the team now, I'm trying to think. Depends who's on the pitch. Like, if DG's on the pitch, Danny Graham.
Oh, yeah.
Giving it Danny Graham straight. If he's not on the pitch, probably give it to Stuart Downing, to be honest.
Yeah. What's he like playing? What's he like to play with?
Sick. Listen, he's like, obviously he's 36 now. He is I'd have loved to have played with him in his prime. Obviously, I was never good enough to play with him in his prime because he was playing at Liverpool, England, West. You know what I mean? Like, he's had an incredible career, and like even in training, in games, we still just see the quality. Do you know what I mean? The vision, first touch, never looks like he's under pressure. Yeah, and obviously he was when he was growing up, left winger, tricky, fast, right winger at Villa. He's playing for us now, centre midfield, like just bossing games. Do you know what I mean? Just because his brain's so many steps ahead. But and do you know what? What an unbelievable person. You know, like you get some players that have done a lot of things in their career and they're a bit arrogant, cocky, like not approachable. This guy, like, for the things that he's done in his career, you could sit and have we've all done it. Do you know what I mean? He's just a normal kid from up north. Like, do you know what I mean?
He just seems like whenever I have seen him play for you guys, it's not that he's not bothered, but it just seems like nothing bothers him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think that just comes from the guys played for England, man. Like 90,000 people at Wembley. He's been to the World Cup with England. Like that's pressure. Do you know what I mean? For him now, he's 36. He's thinking it's just football. Like, he's just enjoying whatever time he's got left on the pitch. And I think he's earned, like I was saying before, he's earned the right to be that way. Do you know what I mean? Because he's been through the pressures of football. He's lived it. He played for his country. He played for Liverpool. Like, he played for Liverpool, man. The guys played for Liverpool.
And you can tell that just the standards are still there, obviously.
Yeah, like his standards are a joke. Like he's still. You don't lose them things that he's got. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, you lose a bit of pace and that, but even his fitness is mad.
Yeah.
The guy's 36 and he's still unbelievably fit. Do you know what I mean? It's not like he's last in the running tests or nothing like that. He's still right up there.
Yeah. Oh no, I love that, man. Where are we now? So what I did want to ask you, because I was watching Arsenal the other day, obviously support Arsenal against Liverpool, and I was praying for that water break, not because the players looked tired, but just because we were under pressure and everything. Yeah. Since the water break thing has come into it, do you look like in your mind, if you're up against it, do you kind of pray for the water break?
Yeah, because it's like a stop. It's like a timeout.
Tactical. It's like a tactical stuff.
Yeah, the managers then come out. Everyone's talking. You got like a minute or whatever it is, and obviously if you drag it on for a minute and a half, the refs ain't gonna do like you can't start the game without the team.
Yeah,
and it's just like it just gives you like a bit of a chance to regroup, try and reset something that the manager's screaming to get on while the game's going on. While there's a natural stoppage, it's easy for them to, do you know what I mean? Kind of get the message across.
Yeah, because I was looking at it and I was thinking, the players don't need water, surely. Like they're good, and I always, when I'm watching the match, just think, okay, the water break's coming. Just get to the water break, and in my head, it's literally just a tactical thing. So I just wanted to ask you about that, just to see while you're on the pitch, you also have that, that
100%.
mentality. 100%. But does it also? Oh, Huddersfield just scored.
Have they?
Yeah. 2-1.
There's the door for Brentford, boy.
2-1 Huddersfield.
The door's a little bit open for Brentford now.
Yeah, I like their managers, the Cowley, the Cowley brothers.
Yeah, they've done well. Like everything where they've come from, and everything.
Yeah, no, they're really, really good. But do you watch? Do you still get to watch a lot of the, Championship games? Obviously it's the league you're in, or do you just look out for scores?
No, obviously if I'm at home, like obviously at the minute there's games on every day, so you can watch football. Thursday, Friday, you know what I mean? There's no day you can't watch football now. So I try and watch as much as I can, but then I also have like a bit of a time in the day where I always think, I've done that today. Do you know what I mean? Like I need something that like my missus, I need just a bit of like, just not football, do you know what I mean? Just to switch off a bit, knowing that the next day you're going into football and it all starts again. So yeah, but if I'm not watching a game, I'm always like looking for the score anyway. So.
It was Emil Smith Rowe that scored, the Arsenal man.
Arsenal boy, yeah.
Yeah. Because the reason why I asked that, because what were you thinking the other day when you probably turned around and saw that Wigan were beating Hull, and it was like 7-0 at half time?
Mad. Yeah. we were getting ready to go out, and someone must have said, I think one of the staff must have said, "Oh, it's 7-0," and we're like, "What, the game finished?" And I'm like, he's like, "No, half time." And we're like, crazy. But since that thing's happened with Wigan, they've been flying. Flying. I think they've only lost once to Brentford, which obviously anyone can lose to them. So.
The administration.
Yeah. Like, and obviously the threat of the 12 points and that. But it looks like they could even take 12 points off them, and the way they're playing, and they might stay up anyway. So yeah, it's a massive result that.
But you guys played them, didn't you?
Yeah, we played them. Yeah, we lost. Yeah.
Yeah. How did Sam Morsey do against you?
Yeah. I've known Sammy for years. Like, he was from like near me. I was best friends with his brother at school and that. And he's just what he is, man. He's always been the same. Like, he'd kick his mum if she was on the pitch against him. He'd kick his mum. I'm telling you. But like, listen, good player. You know what you get. It's a manager's dream, really, because you know exactly what you're going to get from it every week. He plays his game. He's like a little lieutenant on the pitch. He's like, you know what I mean? The manager send him out there, he's like, your manager must wind him up before a game, say, kick him, do that. He just goes out there and does what he gets told.
Yeah, I think with him, like you said, he is a manager's dream. I think, obviously, managers can only do so much, and then it's up to the players. But then he's literally the embodiment of the manager on the pitch.
Yeah, he's like a manager on the pitch.
Yeah. No, I do like him a lot. I'm going to get him on the podcast, actually. So, looking back at your time in the Premier League, what was that like for you growing up? Obviously you've always wanted to be, a professional footballer, and you get to the Premier League. What was it like that moment you stepped out as a Premier League player?
just surreal, really. Like all dreams come true. Everything you work for, like throughout when you're a kid, and obviously like a massive special moment for my family, because obviously coming through your mum and dad, you know, go through so much, getting you to football, driving you here, there, and everywhere. Obviously providing me boots and all that kind of stuff, and that was just like a big celebration for me, and for my family. Do you know what I mean? Just to see like all the hard work's kind of I'm not saying paid off, because I ain't like, do you know what I mean? I'm not a name in the Premier League. But I've been fortunate enough to play one game, I think special. Do you know what I mean? And I think I ended up playing 50, 60 games, which I'm like massively proud of. But yeah, just a real proud moment. And I think the biggest pride I've had, really, which is going to sound mad, is seeing myself on Match of the Day. Honestly, because like, you know, when you're a kid, there were none of, like when I was a kid, like I never had all Sky Sports and all that nonsense, so I wasn't watching football all the time. Do you know what I mean? I used to have to wait till 10:30, 10:25 if I was still awake. Match of the Day, when's it on? Not listening to the news just literally 2 minutes before, so I don't know the scores. So it's like watching the games. And then to finally see myself on there, like, that was a big moment for me, to be honest.
Was that right before they started dragging you?
Just before.
Who's like, from your time in the Premier League, who can you remember as being a player that you were just like, like, were you ever coming out on the pitch thinking like you're actually starstruck with certain players?
Obviously, I'm like I've been like a Man United fan, innit, from as a kid. So obviously, walking out Old Trafford against Evra, Vidic, Ferdinand, Rooney. Do you know what I mean? That's Scholes. That's big. Giggs. Like these players that I'm like, I've spent my whole life just looking up to, and now I'm playing against you, and I'm walking out, and there's crazy, like, the craziest feeling. But the best player, the player I was most impressed with, just I think like David Silva.
Do you know what? Everyone keeps saying David Silva. I think Bradley said that. Someone else said that to me. I think Cyrus Christie. Cyrus, when he played against Man City, said that as well. And it's just, imagine all the players you play against, but they all say David Silva. What is it about David Silva?
I think there's other players. Like, listen, when I play against Suarez, he scored about 100 goals against Norwich. So,
do you know
what I mean? There's players like that, Gareth Bale, Modric. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's crazy players like these. But I think for me, like, just pure football, obviously you got to play. There's a lot of players that get a lot of like of the, not glory, but do you know what I mean? They score the goal, so everyone's like, I want to be like him, and I understand that. But just from a pure football, you can't touch him, you can't tackle him. He's all little and that, and you think, someone's just going to body him today. You can't get your body near him to get. Do you know what I mean? Always knows where space is, wait to pass, first touch, just everything about him. Just I don't even know. I don't even know how to explain it. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how you learn to play football like that.
Yeah,
I don't even know where
some player, and he's leaving Man City now, ain't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna go. But what was it like playing against Suarez, knowing the guy always bags against you, lot?
Nightmare, you know. Do you know what it is, right? Because the games, you're thinking, like he's quiet, we're doing all right. Then the guy like nutmeg someone with their legs closed somehow. ricochet through goal, or the ball's rolling across the halfway line. Man's just hitting it, going in. You're thinking, what is that? Like, what's he doing?
Yeah.
Every single time though, like I think he scored 2 hat-tricks against Norwich. So yeah.
He took you lot for a whipping back. He must have known whenever he saw your lot's name on the TV coming up as fixtures or whatever. He must have thought, okay, that's 3 goals for me. Like
that's what it felt. That's what it felt like. You know, that's what it felt like.
Yeah. You guys don't have VAR in the Championship. You don't, right? No, you don't. I'm pretty sure you don't.
No.
Are you happy about that? When you look at how it's gone, you are.
I'm happy.
You don't like it. Yeah. You don't like it at all.
Nah. Listen, I think the idea is good, and I think it could be used. I think it could be used for really good use. I just think the way that it's being used, I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't like it as well. I think what I don't like most is that it takes the referee out the game. And I know,
you might well not be on there. You might well not be on there.
And I know certain refs they look at it, because I've heard a couple of refs speak about it on different podcasts or whatever. And it's almost like they're afraid to make a decision because VAR might just overrule them and everything.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? And on top of that, there's no consistency.
Nah, that's what I mean. I like the purity of football. So, players are human, so they can make mistakes. Refs are human, they can make mistakes. I like that about it. And even though it goes against you sometimes, in a majority of times in a season, I know everyone says it, cliche and that, it evens itself out. So you might not get a penalty last week, but you'll get one in 3 weeks that you probably shouldn't have got. Do you know what I mean? Whereas now, I think the VAR, the idea behind it is good for certain things. So, but I don't think they're using it right. So, if there's a tackle in the box and the game stops because the ref thinks it might be a penalty, you've got a screen at the side of the pitch. Forget the man wherever he is because he's not involved in the game. Run to the screen, look at it with your own eyes, and say penalty or not penalty. At least you're making the decision then. And at least everyone in the stadium can say, well, he's looked at it, he's the ref, either side, not waiting 4 or 5 minutes for someone that isn't even in the ground, has got no attachment to the game in terms of hasn't seen the tackle live. Do you know what I mean? Just watching it on a screen, making a decision. Because I think it just, like you said, it undermines the refs. And I think people would have a lot more respect for VAR as a system and the refs if that was used in that way. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. You spoke quite passionately about that one. I don't know if you.
I don't like it. I just don't like it. I just don't like it. You know, it's just. I just think it's just ruining. I think it's just ruining the experience when you're watching the game as well.
Yeah, I don't like it at all. Like even the things of players score, and even if they know it's a legit goal, they still look at the line. They don't know whether or not to celebrate and.
Yeah.
And then you've got the millimeters with offsides and just let it go. Do you know what I mean? Just let it go. And I don't like I said, the inconsistency. So, did you see the Nketiah challenge the other week?
Yeah.
Did you think that was a sending off?
I think it's harsh.
Exactly.
But then it's down to interpretation. So, another person might have thought it's harsh if it weren't in the VAR man, but that one man at that time thinks red card. Then flip forward 2 weeks' time, there's another tackle similar. I think it was on an Arsenal player as well last week. Similar sort of tackle. Was it on an Arsenal player?
I know there was one in was it United match? Or Southampton? Romeo did it to someone. Tarkowski, whatever his name, did it to someone. But there might have been... No, there was one in the Arsenal... I can't remember who.
But then it doesn't... Do you know what I mean? But then they don't get sent off, and then that's the people's frustration. It's like, it's the same... If it's the same for that one, send them all off. If you're going to do it, no one minds if it's the same.
Yeah, Leeds been promoted, by the way.
Because West Brom lost.
Yeah, so they've been promoted. So Leeds are now in the Premier League. Yeah.
Good addition to the Premier League.
Trust me, I'd have them in the league over bloody Norwich right now. To be totally honest with you. So looking at that Norwich team that way now, because obviously you got Norwich ties. What do you think? Obviously, you're not the manager or whatever, but what do you think was their undoing this season? If you look back at how their season went, what do you look back on and think, you know what, they could have done this better. This should have happened from your personal point of view. Obviously.
Yeah, I think. Look, they've got a lot of young players, a lot of good young players that have done really well, even this season, even though they got relegated. Look, I think obviously they ain't spent much money, which coming up to the Premier League, not many people do well doing it that way. But I also think they've not gone kind of the way Fulham have gone and Aston Villa have gone and spent basically all the money from the Premier League.
Yeah.
And then, obviously Fulham end up getting relegated. Villa are, close, are in the relegation zone now. I think Norwich are just tried to do it in a sensible way where they're looking after the future of the club. But obviously fans don't want to hear that. Do you know what I mean? Fans want their team to spend money when they got promoted. We worked hard to get promoted, so let's stay here. I can see it from both arguments, to be honest. And then I think the way they play, when it works, it's unbelievable, and it works in the Championship, and it works some games in the Premier League. But I think in the Premier League, you have to have another way of playing. If that's not working for you on a consistent basis, you need to try something else. And fair play to the manager. He's stuck to his principles. He's been brave with it, but then they've ended up getting relegated. So, is that a triumph or a failure? I'm asking you that question because I don't want to put myself out there with that. But I think if you look at it, if you said to any Norwich fans, would you have rather what's happened, or we played an ugly style of football and stayed up on the last day by a point? I guarantee every single one of them would say ugly by a point. So,
do you think it's going to be hard to keep hold of their players? Like, so you've got the Campwells, you've got the Buendias. I think Pukki will stay there, to be honest. But those, and Godfrey especially.
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to be hard for him to keep hold of them players?
Yeah, of course. Like, look, if you're a young lad and you do well in the Premier League and have an impact, especially when I think Buendia's like top 5 chances created in the Premier League.
He's a good player.
Yeah, I know, and they finished bottom of the league. So imagine him in a team that finishes mid-table, or do you know what I mean? Them chances aren't going to be created; they're going to be assists.
Yeah,
more time. So I think, it's going to be hard for them to keep them, because if you do well and you get relegated, the players want to stay playing in the Premier League because they've had a taste of it, and clubs are going to be sniffing around and circling, saying, "Look, we like what he's done last year. We want him." But I think Norwich, from their point of view, they won't be under any pressure to sell because they ain't spent the money that they had for going up. So in terms of like finance, it's not like they're going to have to sell off their, like Villa have spent 140 million. Now if they get relegated, do they have to sell Jack Grealish? Probably, just to recoup some money that they spent that didn't work out. Do you know what I mean? So I think they'll lose players. It's inevitable when you get relegated. If some players have done well, you're going to lose players, but I don't think they'll have to sell all of them.
Yeah.
And obviously it won't be for cheap money, because they won't need to sell them for cheap.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I think they'll struggle to keep hold of like the Campbells and the Godfreys and and Buendias. I think Pukki, no disrespect to Pukki, but I think Championship is I'm not going to say Championship is his level, but I think because they know he could get goals in the Championship.
Yeah, I think that's what I mean. Like, I think if they're going to sell players, they'll decide which ones are going.
Yeah.
Now I think they know what Pukki did in the Championship, so why would you sell him when you could sell potentially another player for good money still, knowing that you could maybe buy 2 or 3 additions with that money, but keep your goal scorer that you know is going to score your goals. Obviously, well, obviously I'm not involved at Norwich. I don't know what they're going to do, but if I was playing Football Manager, that's what I'd do.
Yeah, 100%. So before we wrap up, when's the new season starting? Because there's 2 games left for you. Well, by the time this comes out, there'll probably be 1 game left for you. But and then the season's done for you. But when is it back? Is it September for you guys as well?
Yeah, apparently, yeah. We don't know an exact date yet, but they're talking about the first couple of weeks in September. So, yeah, just have to wait and see when they tell us we're back.
Literally, that's going to give you probably about 2-3 weeks off.
Yeah, 2-3 weeks off. Yeah, that's it. And then back to it.
And then that's so crazy. That is so crazy. But then again, you've had however many months off, and pre-season. It's hardly going to be like a pre-season, right? It
won't be the same as normal now. I think we'll probably have like 2 or 3 weeks off, and then maybe 3 or 4 weeks of less of a pre-season, and then And then we'll
okay, cool. And apparently it's still going to be 5 subs next year as well. So I don't know how you feel about the 5 subs. Yeah, I don't know how you feel about that.
It benefits the better teams. So the teams at the top of the league with the big budgets, with the big squads, obviously it benefits them massively. But I think it might be good for lower league teams and stuff like that, because it's giving. He's mad. It's giving like you got a chance for young lads to get on the bench, where when it's 7 subs but 3 can come on. The manager might be reluctant to maybe put a young lad on the bench, whereas now it's 9. You could have your 7 senior kind of players and 2 young lads that might get 5 minutes at the end of the game, 10 minutes at the end of the game. Vital experience for young players to be involved in first team squads where they might never have been before. So yeah, I think it might be a benefit as well it's definitely going to be a benefit for young players, I think.
Yeah. Right. Who would your player of the season be for Blackburn if you had to pick one? Who's your vote going to for player of the season?
Adam Armstrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not just for his goal against Cardiff, right?
Nah, that's just for his pure goal. Like, he's been a massive source of goals. Obviously, we lost Bradley Dapp with an injury. And obviously, he would have been up there because he's an incredible football player. But Armour's kind of took that mantle on himself to get the goals for the club. And yeah, he's another one, like young player coming through, and you're gonna have a big career in the game.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, Benno, this has been good.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah, I've been trying to get you for ages, but every time I ask, Bradley says you're not interested. So, no, I'm joking.
Yeah, don't listen to him. He's a fool.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't say that. He doesn't say that. I told him to get you on, and literally, I was thinking, how have I not had him on? And they're like, he's right there. So let me just get you on, and it's been good, and I hope you've enjoyed it.
No, I've enjoyed it. Yeah, hopefully this episode won't put too many people to sleep, man.
I mean, I was definitely struggling to stay awake. But
hey, I told you, man, I can talk, man. I can stay up for hours.
No, you're good, man. You're good. But no, you're good. But definitely, when all this finishes, all this lockdown and everything, and we'll link up properly and whatever.
Cool.
But yeah. So thanks for that, guys. Keep liking, subscribing, sharing. Stay there. Keep liking, subscribing, sharing, and all of that. Any questions you have for him, just let him know or get at me. If it put you to sleep, just send him disease and it'll be cool. So, but yeah, until next time, we're out. Stay there.